There's nothing more satisfying than a solid cheapie. You know, a fragrance you only had to spend 25, 30 bucks for and have it smell really, really good. And what if you can also add on to that and have that cheap fragrance last over 8 hours? Because a lot of times, the overwhelming majority of cheapie, affordable fragrances are gonna be somewhere around in that 5-6 hour range, maybe 4, sometimes even worse than that, right? And it's not to say that paying more money automatically yields you a product that lasts longer, but it is more common to have typically above average longevity in the more expensive sense. You know, a lot of times when you get into the cheap stuff, it's really kind of a roll of the dice. And so what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be weeding out all of the weak performing cheapies. We're going to be taking a look at 10 affordable fragrances that last at least 8 hours. Now, like I always mention, I'm going to be referencing pricing here, which is going to be under $40 to consider it a cheapie. And to get that price, you're going to need to shop at discounters. Use the links down below to get those rock bottom good cheapie prices. And we're going to start this one off with Hugo Boss Reversed. Absolutely love this one. It was a discovery of mine, I think like 3 summers ago now. 4 maybe? 3, probably more likely, can't remember for sure. But I know I got this one in, of course, on a blind buy, and I was impressed right off the bat. And even now, I still love how this smells. Grapefruit, bergamot, rosemary, and vetiver are some of the main notes, along with like this ambroxan tinge in here that you pick up on. It smells amazing, very refreshing, very bright, citric, but it also has this clean, aromatic woodiness about it as well. One thing I've always compared it to a little bit was Roche Parfum's Elysium. Now, it's not a clone of that. I don't believe it to be, but I do think it can kind of fit in a similar ballpark. And if you want an alternative, something that isn't a clone, but kind of gives you a similar feel to Elysium, somewhat, just a vetiver-centric, citrus, kind of aromatic fragrance with a mature feel and that ambroxan ambergris twist going on like an Elysium. This is a nice little piece to pick up, usually well under 40 bucks. Sometimes, depending on the bottle size, closer to the $29, $30 range, depending on the sales. But it's a great, great scent and has great longevity. Next up, we have Lacoste Match Point. This is going to be the Eau de Parfum version here. So you've got just general citruses, you've got pepper and vetiver, some of the main notes of black pepper, giving it a little bit of a spicy kick up top, mixing with the citruses. It's like a grapefruit bergamot. You know, the original Match Point has a good dose of grapefruit in there, and then cashmere and all of that stuff. This one simply is just an Eau de Parfum flanker of that. So still similar to Match Point EDT, but a little bit richer, stronger overall, and more interesting, so to speak. You know, I like the slight sweetness that this one brings on, where the EDT doesn't have as much of that. And I like the performance of Match Point Eau de Parfum. 8 hours every single time, no questions asked. And what I also like is that this is super wearable. It's easy to pull off, and that's very valuable. Next up, we have the Icon by Antonio Banderas. Now, this is the Eau de Toilette. From what I understand, they've released an Eau de Parfum this year. Haven't got my hands on it yet, but I really, really want to. This one has grapefruit, sage, lavender, and they don't list this last note, but ambroxan. It definitely has ambroxan, because this is kind of a Sauvage clone. But look at that atomizer, okay? Now, I believe last time I checked, you can get this one for about $25 for 100 ml full presentation at the link below. Again, you know, this is blue fragrance. Not going to be for everyone. If you don't like blue fragrances, then pass on this one for sure. But if you want a Sauvage take, but with its own more fruity, citrusy twist, less spiciness and sharpness, then check out this one. It's actually really, really nice. It pleasantly surprised me. And again, this has to be the best part. That is just so satisfying. Let's get some ASMR. Pressurized atomizer. Come on. That is just cool. Oh, and yeah, 8 hours is no issue with that one either. It's a really good performer. Okay, next up we have Montblanc Legend. This is going to be the Eau de Parfum, so it is a true legend in the fragrance community, at least the EDT is, and it's about time they released an actual EDP standalone, you know, right up against that one there. This one's got bergamot, oak moss, and violet leaves. It still has that traditional legend DNA in here, the kind of Abercrombie and Fitch fierce smelling thing going on, although this one is further away from fierce and more in its own realm. but I much prefer this over the original Legend. And for what it's worth, I prefer this over Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. I really like how this one comes across a lot. You know, it is an EDP. It's just a little bit more interesting, more depth, a bit more complexity, but it's still that Legend price. It's a cheapie, and given that it's an eau de parfum, they've bumped it up, and you'll get 8 hours easily. Let's kick over to a little clone action here from a clone brand, that is. This one is HARAMAIN's DETOUR Noir. I don't remember what it is, $19, $20, something like that. It's very cheap online. And this one is a clone of Layton. Most of you know that already, but if you're new and you want a clone of Layton for a next to nothing, ridiculously low price, check this one out. A good dose of vanilla that you can smell right off the atomizer when you pop the top. I haven't sprayed this one here too recently, but you can smell that vanilla. And then when you do spray it, you get that apple, cinnamon, sweetness going on. I love Layton. I think it is just an amazing scent. It reminds me so much of fall, and after all, fall is going to be coming up. And so if you have Layton, but you don't want to burn through your bottle with the quickness because it's, you know, not really cheap, you can check this one out. Or if you don't have Layton, you really don't feel like dropping $230 on it or whatever at discounters, then check this one out for about $20. You can't go wrong. And to top it all off, when you have performance this good, 8 hours at a minimum for a $20 Layton clone, that just tells me to buy this up. Kind of sticking with the sweeter theme, we have Halloween Man Shot. Cardamom, iris, vanilla, leather, and daiquiri are some of the main notes in this one. Been around for a little while. This one was the initial hype monster, and then a little while after that, Halloween Man X came out, and now that one kind of still is the big hype monster, you know, as soon as fall and winter comes around. And for what it's worth, Halloween Man X could have been in here as well. I get good performance out of it. Nice coffee, whiskey scent. But I wanted to change it up. We'll throw this one in. I like the iris, I like the leather, the sweetness going on in here. Really complements just the scent itself. So it is very sweet, but it also to me isn't too overbearingly sweet. Or at least I'm used to smelling things that are way more sweet. That's being released like in present time right now. It's kind of the new trend. And so this one here is a little bit more digestible. It's a really good performer, 8 hours at a minimum, and it's a cheapie. Going over to a little bit of a fresher one here, so it's going to be more appropriate for summertime, but also it'll work good moving into fall. And actually, for what it's worth, it could be a signature scent all year round. It is ROCHAS L'Homme. This one has grapefruit, juniper berries, pineapple, a bunch of aromatics, a little bit of citrus, some fruits in here, and then just some nice general woods in the base. Nice atomizer too on this. And it's about $30 for the standard size here, which is a 100 ml. It's an eau de toilette, but it's a good performer. It's similar-ish to Dolce & Gabbana's K, although 12,000 times better. It really is. K EDT hasn't worked well for me. The eau de parfum is better than the EDT, but still, for me, doesn't really do it. But ROCHAS L'Homme, this really does it. I love this one. You get kind of a creaminess from this one as well, but it's still, you know, overwhelmingly aromatic and fresh, just with some twists in here that make it a bit more interesting, you know, like I like to bring up. It's good for the fragrance enthusiast who wants something mass-pleasing, you know, and easy to wear, but at the same time, fun to wear for us, because I think I'm speaking for a lot of us here, but, you know, a lot of times we like something that is kind of has twists and turns and different nuances and isn't super flat. And ROCHAS L'Homme is not super flat. It's unique, it's interesting, and it's just a really fun one to wear for a super low price. And no, it smells absolutely nothing like Creed Aventus. I say that because pineapple, and normally in the fragrance community, pineapple equals Aventus. No, not at all. Now, there are some Aventus clones out there that are, you know, a cheapie and that last over 8 hours. I didn't put any in here for the sake of trying not to completely beat a dead horse, but they're out there and you can check my channel for some. All right, let's go over to an ultra cheap. Literally, I was looking the other day, $20 for 100 ml, and you can get a tester and save. It might be 20 for tester and 23 for full presentation, but this is literally stupid at this point. $20, Bentley for Men, Eau de Toilette. This is not the intense version. Rum, leather, and cinnamon are some of the main notes. So Bentley for Men Intense, very controversial. The reason why is because it's got a ton of incense. So it's smoky and rich and kind of gets compared to smelling like a couple of things. One, a grandpa, and two, a church. And a lot of guys out there, especially younger guys, aren't going to want to smell like or be associated with either of those probably. So because of that, Bentley for Men Intense is very much hit or miss. The Eau de Toilette is kind of the place to start. And at 20 bucks, it's just kind of a no-brainer for me. So if you're wanting to get into the line, you're a little bit nervous to jump into the intense version, start here. Because this, I mean, well, this came first. So Bentley for Men Intense is this DNA, but with smokiness and more resins added, okay? So if you can get down with this, at some point you might warm up to the Bentley for Men Intense. If you can't get down with this, you're not gonna like Bentley for Men Intense, so you've just saved yourself some money there. So it does have that booziness, a nice sweetness, a spiciness from that cinnamon going on, some leathery masculine undertones. I mean, this here and the intense version makes me so happy. Love these fragrances. Talk about uniqueness and quality for a rock bottom price. And I threw in the EDT just because it's the most mass pleasing and easiest to wear of the two. And also cheaper, 20 bucks, 8 hours of longevity, something truly unique, and the quality also is mind-blowing. I mean, this right here is just, you have to get it. Please get it, unless you don't like stuff like this. But if you do, please get it. All right, up next we have Hugo Boss Selection, the second Hugo Boss and final in this list. This is a brand that just does cheapies really, really well in a lot of instances. Now, they do have a lot of fragrances, but it's one of those deals where they have so many that they've also had a lot of hits. You know, the more you put out, you get lucky every now and then and get a smash hit. And, you know, this isn't really a smash hit in terms of popularity. It's not talked about a whole lot. But when you do look at the few reviews that are out there, a lot of people are echoing the same thing, which is, holy crap, this is impressive for the price of about $25 or so. Musk, pink pepper, and grapefruit are some of the main notes. Look, I mean, it's nothing super out there crazy, but that's kind of the point. It's very mass pleasing and easy to wear. But there also isn't any other thing that smells like this, or really for that matter, even smells similar to it. I've got a lot of fragrances ranging from cheap to expensive, and this stands by itself. I think that's really cool. I think this is a kind of a diamond in the rough type of thing. It's an 8-hour performer. It's a cheapie. It's a good compliment getter. It's versatile. Not a lot of people talk about this, but I think you definitely should. And I do want to bring this up. If you go to the link down below and you go to pick it up, there's going to be, so this is a 90 ml 3 ounce, okay? So there's going to be a 90 ml 3 ounce full presentation, 90 ml 3 ounce tester. And I saw on there just before I recorded this, there's a 3.4 ounce 100 ml version. I'm just throwing this out there that I don't know what that one is all about. I really have no idea. That's strange. I've never seen that before. The same scent, but just in a slightly bigger bottle. I mean, I guess it has happened, but I don't know. I'm assuming this came first, and now that's a new version. Like I said, I don't know. I just wanted to clarify that. I've got the 90 ml, 3 ounce bottle right here. Just throwing that out there. I'm going to pick up the 100 ml to see if there's any differences, but if you're in the market right now and you want to make sure you're getting exactly what I have, it's 90 ml. I would imagine they probably smell the exact same. I hope they didn't reformulate it, but I just found that to be a little bit strange. And we're going to end this one off with Perry Ellis Aqua Extreme, another mega cheapie here. Like, you can get a 200 ml bottle for around $20-ish, 25-ish maybe for 200 milliliters. Could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm off a little bit. It might even be out of stock, but there have been times where you can get a giant 200 ml for less than 30 bucks. That's crazy value. Lavender, geranium, lemon verbena, and even a bit of tobacco leaf is in here. So it's blue fragrance inspired, but with its own twist yet again, and I really like that about this one. It's a good performer. I haven't tried Perry Ellis Aqua. Again, I'm only rocking with the Extreme here, so I'm not sure what the difference is between the two. But this one still is an eau de toilette, but it's really impressive. I went into this one just trying to see if I was going to discover something that was really good, or I was also thinking this could be just really bad. But this is one where it turned out to be awesome. Impressive stuff. A nice little cheapie. This is one of those good dumb reach scents that you could throw in like your gym bag or keep in your car. And I have to say this disclaimer every time I say that, but no, don't keep fragrances you really care about in your car or in your bathroom where temperatures fluctuate, okay? Just want to throw that out there. But if you're spending $20-ish for 200 milliliters, we're talking about an insanely low price per mil. We're talking about next to nothing pricing here. To have something that you can just keep in your vehicle for peace of mind if you get out the house and forget to spray something on, that's invaluable. I personally keep Dylan Blue and Sauvage Very Cool spray in my vehicle at all times. It sits outside spring, summer, fall, winter. It's been a couple of years. They still smell fine. They're not going to last forever, but you know what? I paid next to nothing for both of those. It's nice to have, and they have come in handy. This is the type of thing that would be good for that. Alrighty, that's going to do it for me. 10 cheap fragrances that do last over 8 hours. Good performance here, great prices, hard to beat that. Links down below so you can get these for the prices that I mentioned here. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.